Hi there, welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I recently embarked on the challenge of trying to learn Portuguese in just 6 weeks. I now find myself at the end of week 3, so as promised, here's my third update. As usual, I'll structure the video as follows. I'll firstly explain what I've been doing in the last 7 days, then I'll tell you about my main achievements, then I'll lay out the challenges that I have ahead of me, what I want to do in the upcoming week, and finally, the best part of all, where I speak a little bit in Portuguese. As usual, something I've been doing very often, I would say every day, is to listen to the BBC News Brazil YouTube channel. This is certainly helping me a lot to widen my vocabulary. Given that I'm listening to a lot of videos related to specific topics such as economics, history, and politics, I'm getting used to the vocabulary that's used in these realms. I am quite confident that my daily exposure to this channel, plus me grinding on Anki every single day, is paying off. Something I've been doing a little bit more in the last week is to read. I've now found quite an interesting blog called Mundo Educação, which I'm visiting quite often. At the beginning, I was reading a lot of articles related to history, but then I noticed this and decided to change and to diversify my reading portfolio a little bit. So I read, for instance, an article about the vitamin B and another one about the importance of eating fruit in our diet. And I also bought a book in Portuguese. It's called Ecuador, written by Miguel Sousa. But no, it's not about Ecuador. It actually tells the story of a Portuguese intellectual of the 20th century who has to leave his comfortable life in Lisbon to embark on a mission in São Tomé e Príncipe. I came across this video while listening to one of the videos published by Portuguese with Leo, and to be honest, the plot seemed quite appealing, so let's see, I'll let you know if I enjoy it or not. I mean, in the end it will be neither a pessoa nor a personal development book, but I think it's going to be a pretty good proxy for it. Something else I've been doing in the last few days is to learn a few Brazilian songs. The goal here is to understand the culture better and to learn a few new words. I started with Chega de Saudade. Uma prece que ela regresse, porque eu não posso mais sofrer. Well, that was a little bit out of tune and singing was never my strength, but I'm getting there. And finally, something I've been up to during the last week was to work on my verbs. I mean, finally. Luckily, my teacher was quite helpful in this regard, since she brought me a few exercises to work on. Now I feel way more comfortable with the present and with the two most important tenses in the past. And yes, you heard it right, I said my teacher, because I finally came across a tutor that was excellent and I just decided to stay with her. I mean, to be honest, I was quite disappointed after the second week, because I had 4 lessons with 4 different teachers, but I wasn't convinced by any of them. And now finally this problem is solved. And this is very important to me because it relieves me from the burden of looking for a teacher, spending time with it, thinking about it, and worrying about it. And it also allows me to start working on some specific topics chosen by her. I mean, up until now, I had to use the time I had available for one-to-one lessons to speak to new teachers. That is, I couldn't use the times of the lessons productively because we were just getting to know each other. But from now on it will be different. Given that my teacher will get to know my level of Portuguese in more detail, she'll be able to spot my flaws and to suggest the right materials for me to work on, which is super important in order to make progress and try to achieve my goal of becoming fluent in Portuguese in just, what was it? 3 weeks, so I have to hurry up. And my second achievement of the week has been to get more comfortable with my speaking. I mean, compared to where I was a few days ago, I feel that I've made a significant leap forward. I am now able to speak faster and with fewer mistakes, and I also stopped reverting to my Italian, which is something worth mentioning as well. In order to illustrate what I mean, let me show you a few excerpts of the lessons I've had. Per exemplo, eu escrevi o texto do próximo vídeo. O motivo é que se eu não faço isso, é muito mais estressante gravar o vídeo, porque eu tenho que pensar muito. A cada momento eu tenho que pensar que coisa vou dizer. Era uma distração para ele. É por isso ele decidiu jeitar a bola.
Ele decidiu jogar. Isso.
A bola. Ele foi a buscar o carro. Ele foi a buscar o carro porque ele creia que o carro havia morto ou que havia desaparecido. Mas o que eu gostaria de dizer é que eu já ouvi isso sobre os brasileiros. Por exemplo, neste canal que eu ouço habitualmente. Sim, exatamente. Mas para mim, eu acho que para mim isso seria um pouco problemático, porque eu gosto quando as outras pessoas fazem o que eles dizem que eles vão fazer. Eu acho que eu compreendi muitas coisas, sim. Não tudo, mas uma porcentagem muito alta. As you have just seen, my speaking abilities are a bit better, but they still have a long way to go. This is why my main goal for the week ahead is to try to work on them as much as possible. I would say I already have a good grasp of the basics. For instance, I understand how the Portuguese sound system works, and I'm able to reproduce those sounds quite accurately. I can also use the most important words in the language in a conversation without having to think too much. And I can also conjugate the most important tenses relatively accurately. I just have to speak to my teacher often and try to get the most out of the lessons. Apart from that, I'll also try to read 1/3 of the book I mentioned before and to work on the future tense and on the subjunctive mood. Alright, it's time to speak Portuguese again. Today I'll talk about the French invasion in the Portuguese colony. That is, about the times the French tried to get hold of some parts of what is nowadays Brazil. Come on, let's do it. Português. Português do Brasil. Português do Brasil. Oi pessoal, hoje eu vou falar brevemente das invasões francesas na colônia portuguesa, o que aconteceu nos séculos XV e XVI. A primeira vez foi no ano 1955, onde hoje fica a cidade de Rio. O nome que os franceses deram a essa região foi a França Antártica, já que eles acharam que Rio ficava próximo ao Polo Antártico, mas andavam um pouquinho errados. Em qualquer caso, os portugueses reagiram rapidamente. 5 anos mais tarde, a França Antártica foi destruída e os franceses expulsados. Mas os franceses não ficaram cansados. Uns anos mais tarde, eles tentaram de novo. No começo do século XVII, eles tentaram a construção de uma nova colônia. Esta vez, o nome dado foi a França Equinocial, o que ficava na região da atual cidade de São Luís. Mas em este momento da história estava em vigor a União Ibérica. Isso é, esta vez a reação dos portugueses foi combinada com as forças espanholas. Eles expulsaram novamente os franceses da colônia portuguesa. So that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If that's the case, don't forget to give it a like, and if possible, if you have 10 seconds, just leave me a comment down there, because the YouTube algorithm favors videos that have a lot of engagement. That is, more people are gonna see my videos and this is gonna help my channel. Thank you and see you next time.